Success Radio USA's Profiles of Success is brought to you in part by the 365 Grand Club, Colorado Springs' only elite urban downtown club. Don't like having to park downtown? Don't like paying full price for great dining? Hate working out in crowded gyms? Use your 365 Grand Club card and forget all of that. Enjoy the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today by visiting www.365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. Go there today and join the club, the 365 Grand Club. And now let's join your hosts of Profiles of Success, Chuck Bader and Jerry Evans.
Thank you for listening to Profiles of Success. I'm your host, Chuck Bader, along with
Jerry Evans, and it's a pleasure once again to be here on the program on Profiles of Success. And by the way, you can find us here by going to our Facebook page at Success Radio USA, or by going to our website at successradio.us. Now, we'd like to invite you to register with us there for free, and you will get a free ebook download as our gift to you. Now that you are one of those who take success seriously, you can subscribe to Success Radio USA for only a few dollars. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
we have breaking news.
Breaking news.
You don't even have to pay the few dollars.
Stop
for a
limited
for a limited time only. We are allowing your membership, your subscription, I should say, to be absolutely free. Did you hear that word?
Who can't afford free? It's the good.
Not even Chuck Bader can turn that down, right? Anyway, and we want you to have total access to our show's archives on demand in our Success Library of ebooks, which are also free to members.
No, you can't beat a deal like that. So
no. Hey, see, studio audience is excited about it as well.
As they say, there is no barrier to entry. There's no reason, no excuse for you not to start plugging into this kind of stuff, you know?
That's exactly right. So get on it. Come on, everybody. Get signed up.
Absolutely. Because what you're going to do is you're going to learn the things and pick up the lessons that Amber, our guest today, had to learn the hard way, and you can start actually picking up on that a little bit easier. So we are very, very proud to welcome to the studio Amber Turner. Thank you so much for coming down.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, the studio audience is excited as well. You can hear them in the background clapping and cheering.
Well, it's really great. I got a chance to get your bio before this show and kind of reading through that. And what you have is a really classic success story. The unique thing about it is how you started off. So what we like to do is start off with, and it's up to you to share the year or not, but where you're born, when you were born, and most importantly, what did your parents do when you were growing up? So let's start off with that.
Well, I grew up in Georgia.
Okay.
And so my dad was in the military, and so we traveled around for a while.
Which military?
Air Force.
Okay.
And so
I was in the Navy. He was in the Marines. So
oh, okay.
We always have to kind of cover
that. And so,
yeah, that's right.
And so he's retired Air Force, and we grew up, and I was a military brat, and he retired, and I had the typical military brat experience, and
make friends, lose friends, make friends,
move away, that sort of thing. And I mean, it was challenging. I had to go through a lot of
readjustment?
Yes, readjustment, and going into new situations and having to find myself a lot of times, and definitely was difficult to navigate that for a while.
Well, one of the interesting things that I was reading through your bio is that as a young girl, you knew that you wanted to be a business owner. What do you think inspired that if your dad was in the military? He was not an entrepreneur.
You know what? I don't know, to be honest. I always just had this entrepreneurial spirit. I don't know what it was or what I saw on TV. It was nothing that really, I can say, that really kind of stuck with me. I just knew in my heart and my soul that I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to be a businesswoman. So That's something that I always had.
So it didn't just kind of click on in your head in 7th grade or 10th grade or something like that, right?
No, well, I mean, when I was a kid, I was always playing businesswoman.
Really?
I wasn't
really? Like what?
Yeah,
wow.
I was calculating the amount of money I was going to make. I had my little suitcase, and I had my cell phone, the flip kind at the time.
Yeah, well, we all had that.
Yeah, the flip phone, and I was playing businesswoman, and I never was one of those people that. People would dream of their wedding and things like that. I was more like, well, what kind of business am I going to conquer? What am I going to do when I grow up as far as business? And I was just so fascinated with business.
So how old were you when you first had these thoughts?
Oh my gosh, I don't even recall the age, but I do know that, I was really, really young. I can't even recall. I just know, like, from back then, I was just really young, and it's as far as I can remember.
So maybe around like elementary school age?
Yeah, probably younger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, just bring that up because an example that we kind of compare to here is a guy named Farragray who at 9 years old, he didn't really have the desire, but his family had the desire for him to be a businessman. Okay. And they kind of trained him that way and taught him that way and put the belief system into him, and he did very, very well. And it's interesting to see that you, without the family initiating that, just felt it from your heart and you pursued that.
Yeah. Definitely without the family.
Okay, we got to hear about that. So let's talk about the opposition, because that is so common, is that you'll have a dream and desire and everybody's telling you, you can't, you shouldn't. So what were they telling you?
Absolutely. I mean, I think even to this day, my family thinks that I'm pretty crazy.
Really? Even after you've proven success?
Yeah, well, wow. It's because it's not typical from where I came from. There was no entrepreneurs. I mean, I don't even think we even knew what that word meant,
right? Let alone try to spell it.
Exactly. And it, so having aspirations to be an entrepreneur and a businesswoman just wasn't what I saw, and it was not in my reality at the time. And so, they thought I was crazy. They thought that I needed to just go to college and do the typical, and which I did, but hindsight, I kind of wish I just went for it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. But still, despite the opposition, you still went for it, just in a different way.
Oh, yeah,
different
absolutely.
Timeline.
I mean, yeah, I did. But, it was definitely not easy. There was a lot of struggle and challenges in the beginning. And, I mean, I guess even now, there are still challenges and struggles with anything that you do in life. But... it's about that perseverance, it's about overcoming, and I think that says a lot about life as well.
So you had to battle through the obstacles. Would you kind of define what some of those were that you were able to overcome?
Well, I mean, I had a lot of ideas, and some of the ideas weren't the best ideas, and so well,
I think there was a number of inventors that had a lot of anti-success, and then they came up with the idea and then went on to be very, very famous and very powerful, and I guess more than anything they were very successful. So you have to go through a lot of trials sometimes.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I think that it's important because I tell a lot of people it's all about the journey. It's about learning and experiencing, because how are you going to realize what you are good at and what you're not good at, what you like and what you don't like? And so I think that the journey and the challenges and overcoming has taught me so much about myself.
Well, you bring up a great point, because a lot of people have this misperception that if I don't take a chance or take a risk, I'll avoid the obstacles. It doesn't matter what you do in life. The obstacles are there, whether you work in 9 to 5, start a business, or anything else. There's always going to be things that are going to challenge you in life.
Absolutely. I agree.
But the difference is that you want to be in charge of them, pursuing something that you love, or you're just trying to get over an obstacle to make enough overtime to pay the bills or get over what little issue, as compared to pursuing a dream.
Yeah, and passion and dreaming is so important in life.
Yes.
I think I'm almost like, we teach our children to dream and aspire to be great and do great things, but then when they become adults, you have to not dream anymore.
Right.
But then that's the point at which you can really see these dreams to fruition. So I'm like, that doesn't even make sense for us to put those thoughts into our children's heads about they can do, the sky's the limit, and they can do whatever they want to do, but then when they become an adult, that's all over,
So were you able to focus in on one area that you wanted to be successful at?
Well, I mean, I tried a few different things, and I kept coming back to creating events and producing events and hosting, and so that's kind of where I'm at now with the producing pageants, is that's kind of what it taught me as how to produce an event. Because even with the different avenues that I had tried, I was always producing events and going back to events that benefited the community. And so I thought, okay, well, let's focus on this.
Yeah, now you mentioned about the pageants, and we're going to get into that in a segment or two here. But now, when you pursued all these and you were able to be the host, be the creative person behind it, producing the show and everything, did you find that was the rewarding part of the whole journey?
Oh, yeah. Anything that you create and you see it for fruition and you see what kind of impact it makes, it's just, at least for me, it feeds my soul. And so, yeah, absolutely.
I wish I could have convinced my parents about that when they created me.
But she brings up a great point about what this is about. And again, it's almost like, I guess they call it a winnowing stick, to where you have this stick and you walk around, and when you're over water, somehow it has a little pull to it. Mm-hmm. Well, what she's talking about is the life of fulfillment.
Yes.
And you'll do certain things, and you'll just know, my goodness, this feels good. And then you know to keep pursuing that.
Oh, absolutely.
So
that is a great way to put it.
Right. There's no logic in this whatsoever. Just like you said, you've got to try a lot of things, be in touch to how it makes you feel. And then when it makes you feel good, that's what you're made for. Mm-hmm. It's not that hard.
No, it really isn't. And we applaud that right there because of the fact that you were persistent about it. Kind of the beauty of persistence, right?
Mm-hmm. Even though there's a lot of days that I wanted to give up.
And we want to talk more about that because that's the important part people need to hear about. Mm-hmm. It's not all as slow as, say, rainbow and sunshine. Or
that's exactly.
Sunshine and horseshoes.
Sunshine lollipops. And
something like that. I got to watch the clip again.
Bring in the commercials.
All righty. So, ladies and gentlemen, something that is easy is to get a piece of paper and a pen, and you're going to hear our commercial sponsors, and they're going to tell you their phone number, they're going to tell you the website, they're going to tell you the business name, and all of a sudden, by golly, one of these days you're going to need their services. Use them first. We'll be right back on Profiles of Success.
Success Radio USA is always looking for ways to help you succeed. Whether it's offering a word of encouragement or sharing practical information that can give you the competitive edge. So you'll want to pay close attention to this. Our new sponsor, the 365 Grand Club, can give you the edge when conducting business in downtown Colorado Springs. You might want to entertain a potential client or just show appreciation to a loyal business partner. Either way, your new 365 Grand Club card is your passport to downtown Colorado Springs. Your club card gives you access to discounts, business perks, making new business connections, and the convenient private concierge service that makes getting around town hassle-free. Enjoy the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today by visiting www.365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. Get yours this week and join the club, the 365 Grand Club.
This week, my name is Harley Mitchell. Next week, I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll use your name. You see, I'm a cyber criminal, and I steal information that defines who you are. Things like your driver's license number, your birth date, your home address, your office address, your social security number, your medical information, insurance cards, business licenses, and if I can get it, your birth certificate. If I can get one, I can get the rest. It's not personal. It's just business. Once I have your information, I bundle it with others and I sell it. Not just once, but over and over and over and over and over.
Due to recent massive data breaches, your personal information is now available for cyber criminals like Harley to buy and sell to their underworld counterparts for profit. Bad people with bad intentions hiding behind your identity. Don't be fooled and lock down your financial life. Use the professionals that Fortune 500 companies use, ID Shield and Legal Shield. It costs less and reaches further. Don't lock down your life. Call Andrea Wacker and get the right protection for the right problem. Andrea Wacker is your Lady of Justice. Call now at 719-243-3174. That's 719-243-3174. listening to Success Radio USA at successradio.us. Success Radio USA is your source for inspirational, motivational, informative, and life-changing daily content. Thank you for listening.
Success Radio USA.
Welcome back to Profiles of Success with our guest Amber Turner, our co-host Jerry Evans, and your host Chuck Bader.
Yes, indeed. And we thank you for joining us here on Profiles of Success. And remember that you can find us by going to our Facebook page at Success Radio USA or by going to our website at successradio.us. We'd like to invite you to register with us there for free, and you will get a free ebook download as our gift to you. And now that you are one of those who take success seriously, you can subscribe to Success Radio USA, not for a few dollars a month. For a limited time only, we're going to let you subscribe for free. That's
Nothing.
right.
Goose eggs. Don't cost you nothing.
That's right. Zero is
Yes.
the amount that you will pay. Anyway, you can also have total access to our show's archives on demand and our Success Library of ebooks, which are also free to members. I've said free a lot, haven't
You
I?
throw it out like it didn't cost anything.
Wow. Well, it is free.
But I'll tell you what's not free is the emotional difficulties you come through that Amber had to suffer through. She was in a small town in New York. She grows up in a family who doesn't know what entrepreneurship is. You probably had friends who were thinking that you were a little off the wall. What were some of the things that really kind of slowed you down, things that really just kind of hit you below the belt and made you question whether or not you wanted to pursue this?
Well, initially when I made the jump into entrepreneurship, I was living in a pretty small town. It was very isolated.
Oh, in New York, I think it was.
Oh, yes. It was upstate New York, and it was very isolated. And, you know, it was just very difficult to make friends and build relationships and even come up with a great idea because I was just because initially I wanted to get back into federal employment, which is what I came from.
Right.
But then I was like, well, this is a great opportunity for me to pursue my dream. And so I was coming up with ideas of how I can be a business owner. And so coming up with ideas and you know, the people there, I have to say, weren't the nicest people ever.
Right.
And so I was enduring that, and my family was enduring that as well. And it was just very, very challenging. I felt alone. I didn't really have family or friends to support or even talk to. And so when I was not getting any traction with the business, and then I didn't have anyone to talk to, and I was having people say not so nice things to me all the time when I would go out in public, you know, it really, really sent me in a downward spiral.
Oh, yeah.
It was really, really challenging. And, you know, I wasn't sure for a moment there if entrepreneurship was even for me
Right.
at that point.
Were a lot of your family members encouraging you to go back into federal employment?
Yes.
They were saying, you need to do this. Forget this whole other stuff,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. And I can say that even now at this point, that's probably even the case. Because, I mean, you know, it's what we know, it's secure, it's all of these things, and it offers so many opportunities but they don't see the opportunities that entrepreneurship offers because they don't know it. And so, yeah, I would have to say that definitely is the case, or was the case.
It's interesting because I really, like in my own case, I grew up without a father, and in all those circumstances, going through school and everything like that. And then finally, when I got into high school, I had a dream, and my dream was that I was going to get into radio. Okay. I was going to be a radio announcer, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I had older siblings that said, you're going to get into radio. I have a brother who's a welder, and and another one who was like a delivery driver and everything there. And I'm going, yeah, I really want to work in radio. And they're looking at me like, what are you, nuts? You should be a welder. You should be a mechanic, something along that line. And they were constantly, in a lot of respects, trying to deter me from doing that.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that's kind of the similar things that was going on in your life.
Oh, absolutely. And I hear that among a lot of business owners, like a lot of entrepreneurs. that I've spoken with over just the course of being here in Colorado, I always ask them the same question: does your family think you're crazy? And I always get the same answer, which is yes, absolutely. My family thinks I'm crazy. And, it comes out of love, and I understand it. And it really comes out of love, but...
Because they're looking at security, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But part of it is like... One thing I want to instill in my kids is just to pursue whatever makes you happy, because only you know inside what feels right to you.
Right.
And I think one of the greatest examples we can cite, we like to throw out some movie recommendations or book recommendations, but if you haven't seen The Pursuit of Happiness, acted out Will Smith about Chris Gardner, there was an interesting scene about in the middle of the movie where Chris is, he was a salesman at the time trying to sell these medical devices, gets a chance to take an internship at Dean Witter, and so here's a guy who's very entrepreneurially minded, willing to take risks, willing to go through the sacrifices, and he and his son are playing basketball one day, and his son's like 5 years old at the time, and his son's talking about, I want to be in the NBA and shoot these great baskets and make this great career. And Chris Gardner himself says, well, you probably shouldn't do that. And his son just gets flat out discouraged. And then Chris catches himself, thank goodness, and he says, you know what? Don't let anybody tell you can't pursue your dreams. If you want a dream, go get it, period. Mm-hmm. So even in a situation like that, even a guy who's trying to pursue it, like you said, they want to think out for their kids and keep them safe, and they inadvertently give some bad advice. And yet, in your case, it was constant, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, but isn't that what makes life beautiful?
Yes.
Is to explore and try new things. And I mean, that it would be so boring if we just did the same thing that everyone else did, if we didn't even try. Like, I don't understand that mentality, because that's what makes life beautiful, is those peaks and valleys.
Now, let's do a contrast. Like you said, let's look at the lifestyle of somebody who plays it safe. And I was with the post office 29 years, and it was so eye-opening to me, where people would have an entire career, 20, 30, 40 years, and they'd retire, and I'd see them out in public, and they're just walking around trying to fill their time. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm just trying to keep busy. It's like, wow, really? This whole lifetime of experience and work and money, and now you have all the time and enough money in the world to do what you want to, and you're just trying to stay from being bored? It's like, to me, that's kind of not really what we're made for.
You know, that's interesting, because I know, like, when I worked for the federal government, I thought, I really am not a hard worker. I really.
Well, you exemplified what the major workforce is.
No, I mean, honestly, I was like, well, I don't. And then when I started working for myself and I became passionate about it,
right?
It didn't feel like work, but I worked all the time.
Yes.
And I was like, well, that wasn't true. It just was the environment and what I was doing. I was not passionate about it. Right. And it's funny that you say that, because I really, really understand that, because we do. People sometimes, as we get older and mature, we forget how to find those passions and the dreams or how to dream. And I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you were alluding to was settling. You know, when you get into a position like that, you settle for that particular position. And a lot of times, you know, I've felt that way too. And because I still work for the post office, you know, but it's a situation now where it's not so much about the fact that I feel like I'm not passionate about it. It's about, you know, sustaining a lifestyle that I want to be comfortable with.
Sure,
so,
yeah.
What were you going to say?
Well, something Tony Robbins brought up, the fact that a lot of people don't take time to plan. And so all of a sudden you don't take time to plan, and you kind of become part of who your environment is in the situation. And you go and you, year after year after year, you keep saying, I'm going to retire someday. And there's no clue about what you do after retirement.
Right.
So it's really a lack of a failure to plan, and the plan has to come from the vision. And her vision came from inside. I want to be a businesswoman. That's a good start. And then you narrow it down over the years to become a pageant executive officer. And another great movie recommendation based on what you talked about, small town discrimination. And we like to do the movies because we only have 1 hour here, but we want you to see other stories of people who have done the same thing. And there's a movie called October Sky. October Sky, about a kid who's grown up in a very small town, in a mining town no less, and you've got to be a miner because everybody's a miner. That's what you're going to do the rest of your life.
And his father was pushing it.
Oh, yeah. But here's a guy who has a different idea. Well, I don't want to do that. I want to get out of this town and become a rocket scientist, for crying out loud. And all the adversity you probably went through as well. You know,
Absolutely.
So you see that stuff in small towns.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see it too, because like it goes back to my family didn't understand the entrepreneurship. A lot of the people within the community didn't understand that as well. So it's, you just walk around sometimes thinking that you're crazy, and sometimes you might even feed into it.
Exactly, yes. And I wanted to go back to a comment you made earlier. You said either you did or you were on the verge about giving up on your dream. Was it on the verge or you actually gave up on it at some point?
Well, I have to say probably I did. But,
okay.
I just couldn't let it go. I just could not let it go, because at the end of the day, or really, honestly, at the end of my life, I don't want to have any regrets.
Yes.
I don't want to have any, and I don't think anyone should have any regrets. I think that, like I said, life is so beautiful, and it's like about exploring different things and experiencing those things. And there's so much importance in experience. So I thought about settling a lot of times, actually.
Exactly. That's normal.
I knew that, the experience that I was going to get from pursuing it was just going to be amazing at the end of my life.
Well, two things on that I think will help. I know it was a big turning point for me, but a lot of people will say, well, what if I go for a goal and fail? And Brian Tracy has the perfect philosophy about that. He said it's not always what you achieve by pursuing a goal, it's what you become by pursuing a goal. And you've lived that out as well.
Yeah, it's all about the journey.
And then another one, if you haven't seen the movie Miracle about the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team, here's the guy who was going for an impossible goal. And the one thing he told his wife, in case he didn't win, his wife's going to say, well, what made it worth it? He says, the only thing that's going to make it worth it is if these guys know they left nothing on the table. Mm-hmm. They tried their best. They pursued their hardest. Whether you win or not is a secondary factor beyond your control, but they became tremendously better people because they pushed themselves that hard.
Oh, yeah.
So, very good example.
Exactly. Well, yeah, it's inspiring me for a goal I'm going for right now. And speaking of a smaller goal for our audience listeners right now, it's
their
a goal to dig out a piece of paper and find out a pen and just be able to write a phone number, write your first book, write the website, write the name of these sponsors, and call those dudes and keep it on your fridge so you know where to find it. This is Profiles of Success. We'll be right back.
Success Radio USA is always looking for ways to help you succeed. Whether it's offering a word of encouragement or sharing practical information that can give you the competitive edge. So you'll want to pay close attention to this. Our new sponsor, the 365 Grand Club, can give you the edge when conducting business in downtown Colorado Springs. You might want to entertain a potential client or just show appreciation to a loyal business partner. Either way, your new 365 Grand Club card is your passport to downtown Colorado Springs. Your club card gives you access to discounts, business perks, making new business connections, and the convenient private concierge service that makes getting around town hassle-free. Enjoy the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today by visiting www.365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. Get yours this week and join the club, the 365 Grand Club.
It gives clarity to problem solving. It increases production and focus on the job. It alleviates sleepless and restless nights and fends off stress and tension headaches. No, it's not the latest energy drink or health supplement. It's Legal Shield. Get peace of mind every day, every night, now and forever. Legal Shield. Get it.
To find out more about Legal Shield and how it can protect your family and your business, call Andrea at area code 719-243-3174. That's area code 719-243-3174. Legal Shield. Listening to Success Radio USA at successradio.us. Success Radio USA is committed to helping you achieve a positive daily approach to your success each and every day. Thank you for listening.
Success Radio USA.
Profiles of Success. I'm your host, Chuck Bader.
And I'm Jerry Evans, having more fun than a human being could possibly be imagining. Anyway, we do want to thank you for joining us here on Profiles of Success. And remember that you can find us by going to our Facebook page at Success Radio USA or by going to our website at successradio.us. We'd like to invite you to register with us there for free, and you will get a free ebook download as our gift to you. And now that you are one of those wonderful people that take success seriously, you can subscribe to Success Radio USA. We've been offering it at $3.99 a month. But you know what? For a limited time only.
Limited time only.
Zip, zero, nada.
Don't cost a thing. Yes.
Yes, that's right. So that's what we want to tell everybody about. And remember that you can have total access to our show's archives on demand and our Success Library of ebooks, which are also free to members. Yay! All right.
It's something even a kid without an allowance can afford. So if you're a kid without an allowance, go to successradio.us and get signed up. Become the next Farrah Gray or Amber Turner, because age is not a factor for success. And, you know, these people are proving that.
I never got an allowance.
Well, then you can still afford it. So now, Amber.
Okay, thank you.
This is a rim shot. It's been a dry spell for a while.
Yeah.
I've been too serious.
That was an outstanding rim shot, by the way.
It was very good,
Thank
yes.
you. Okay.
Now, one thing I want to talk about
Amber Turner, yeah, that's the beautiful lady right here, okay?
A lot of things people talk about, Earl Nightingale being one of the biggest ones, is that we become what we think about all day long. Mm-hmm. And you had made a comment in your profile that, and I want to read this so I don't mess it up, but Amber then realized she could create her thoughts into reality. So expand upon that, because that is something that a lot of people miss when they're pursuing goals.
Sure. Well, an interesting thing happened to me. I had a spiritual awakening one day, and I just was realizing how the TV that I was watching, which was not the best, and the things that I was listening to on the radio were creating an emotion in me.
Wow. Let's see. How old were you?
It was like 2 years ago.
Okay. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
yeah, she was only 19.
Yes, exactly.
I realized that, and I was like, well, why is this creating an emotion in me? And I knew that, like, having cortisol and negative emotions can affect your physical health. And yes. I was like, well, this definitely is not good for me. And so I turned off the TV and I turned off the radio, because I had been using TV as like ambient noise. Like right. It was constantly on all the time. And I turned all that stuff off one day, and it was like, well, you know what? I'm just going to be one with my thoughts. And so once I did that, I realized that the thoughts that I was having in my head, I started listening to that narrative. It wasn't good.
Okay.
It wasn't good. I thought that I was a positive person. I mean, I was like, well, you know, I went around life like I'm positive. I always had a positive outlook. But I realized that the thoughts then that were going through my head weren't positive. It was a lot of insecurity. It was a lot of self-doubt.
Wow.
I mean, and once I realized that, I was like, wow, I really wanted to change that, because I had heard the strangest, what is it?
Strangest Secret, Earl Nightingale.
Oh, my bad. The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. Yeah. And I knew that my thoughts were going to create my reality. And I knew that this self-doubt, this insecurity is not because I honestly thought that, you know, everyone else had it in for me. Like, you know, I really,
yes.
like, I'm not seeing success because this situation, this person, or whatever. And I was putting all the blame on everyone else except for myself. And I realized that I needed to be accountable for myself. And I realized my thoughts, I listened to that narrative, and I was like, well, this is all me. And so I took accountability for my thoughts. I took accountability for what was going on in my reality. And you know, it's still a process.
Oh, yes,
it's something that I have to deal with every single day. But what was the original question?
Well, the original question is, how did you make your thoughts come into reality?
Oh, and then I started listening to Tony Robbins,
Boom.
Wayne Dyer.
On YouTube or where?
YouTube.
Free on YouTube, guys. Free on
yes,
YouTube. Come
yes.
on. Here we go.
Yeah.
Living example,
Yes.
finally.
Chuck spent $100,000 for each one of those,
No, it was thousands, but not
I mean,
100,000.
I'm kidding.
I realize that all those things are on YouTube now. And
Yeah, there you go.
And I read the one book that changed my life was This Thing Called You by Ernest Holmes.
Never heard of that one yet.
Oh my gosh. I tell everyone I meet that you need to read that book.
Well, expand on that.
I mean, pretty much it's just, it's all of the same books. What is the book, Richest...
Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich.
Napoleon Hill, yeah.
Napoleon Hill, As a Man Thinketh.
Yes.
All of these
James
books, they all have the same underlying...
Exactly. You figured
thing.
it out.
And I was like, The Secret, and I would go back because I watched Oprah when I was growing up, and then I watched The Secret on Oprah and how they were talking about it and the law of attraction and all of those things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, all of this makes sense.
Yes.
And it was just like, it was like I knew it, but I didn't know it.
Right.
It's almost as if I had forgotten it.
Yes,
I had
well said.
always knew it, but I had forgotten it. And so once I realized that, I was like, I have to really take accountability for myself. And I think that's the most important thing that people don't realize. And we put the blame on everyone else, but it has so much to do with ourselves and how we think about it and how we perceive reality.
Well, let's kind of encapsulate what you said. Jim Rohn, who was the mentor of Tony Robbins, had a really good thing that he learned from his mentor, James Earl Schoaf, about coffee. So he says, imagine if all of a sudden you have a cup of coffee and your enemy comes by and they put sugar in the cup of coffee. Is it going to hurt you? Well, of course not, because it's the substance going in the coffee, not necessarily who gave it to you. Okay, so all of a sudden you have a friend come by and by mistake puts poison in your coffee. Is it going to hurt you? Yeah, but it was a friend, but it was what went in there. So like you talked about, all the poison in your mind was TV and radio and negative news or whatever like that. And all this stuff is polluting your thoughts even just 2 years ago. And when you finally started to guard what goes in there and choose what goes in there, you did what Zig Ziglar talked about. You've got to make sure that you put in the pure, the powerful, and the positive into your mind, because what goes in your mind is so important. And I'm glad that you saw that, though.
Yeah, and we distract ourselves so much that we don't even realize what we're thinking.
Right.
And I think that was the biggest thing, because if I hadn't turned off the TV and all the noise, I don't think I would even realize what I was thinking. Because, like I said, I thought I was a positive person. I thought I went around saying positive things and giving positive advice to other people. But it was until I put down the phone. I mean, I still get on the phone sometimes, but, we're just so distracted, whether it's the phone, social media, or TV, or whatever the case is. Our kids even sometimes can be distracting, that we don't even realize what we're thinking. So, yeah.
I would like for you to reinstate your listenership to Success Radio USA. And remember to go to our website, okay? Maybe that will instill all that confidence that you have about being a successful entrepreneur.
So let's go back to a test.
So that would be the radio that she should be listening to, right?
Exactly. But let's go back to a test about what you should put in your mind. So all of a sudden somebody hears you and they say, well, yeah, I think I'm getting caught up by TV or radio or news, whatever like that. And so as far as choosing what goes in your mind versus what doesn't go in your mind, let's do a book recommendation, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and The 8th Habit by Stephen Covey.
Right.
And in the book, he talks about 2 circles that can really dramatically change your life. And I know that really helped me filter out the distinctions between what I should pursue and what I shouldn't. The first one is the small circle called your circle of control. What are things happening in your life that you can actually have influence over and change? The other one that we're all sucked into, a lot of people, not me anymore, thank God, but it's called the circle of concern. So the fire down the street, the abuse across the world, whatever going on outside of your control, yeah, it concerns you and it grabs your attention, and it's what the media is very skilled at, putting into your telephone and your TV to suck you in to watch and get caught up in that. So you have to be very, very intentional about, is this something I can control, or if it's not? And if it's not, don't listen to it. Simple thing. But just being aware of, if I can't do anything about it, I should not be involved in it.
Right. And just to piggyback off of what you said, I think that radio like this is very, very impactful. I was talking about radio that is like... I just meant music, pretty much.
Oh, I know.
Numbing music that doesn't really serve me at all. And so I love podcasts. I love listening to audiobooks and things like that. I think that I even get my kids involved in that because I think it's important.
Bob
for
Landry,
them.
yeah, baby.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's an encouraging thing because a lot of times I think what's happening in today's society is the fact that people are relying on that as their way of getting information, their way to expand their horizons, and they're conditioned to do that. So I think it's a really great, and especially with the fact that you're influencing your children to do that.
That's huge.
Because I think you're going to have that impact on them. And then in turn, it hopefully will lead them down the path that they choose to become successful.
And can we just say how amazing technology is nowadays? I mean, the fact that I can listen to Tony Robbins without going to wherever he's at in the world, or just listen to these podcasts that expand my horizons, like you said. And YouTube is free, like you said. I mean, it's just amazing how we can get this information just readily accessible to everyone.
And I want to expand on that real quick before we take our break, and that is...
And you take a break this time.
Well, okay, no, it's not a secret, but one of the things also on a personal level is we have the Pikes Peak Marathon that's coming up, and one of the things that we're going to do differently this year is we're going to actually stream that particular event live. And it's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be around the world.
Yeah.
This is something, when you think about technology and how that impact is going to be there for everybody. I mean, when I sit back and I think about the fact that we're going to be, on that program on YouTube all around the world. You think about Australia, you think about Europe, you think about Asia. I mean, whatever the case might be. So when you talk about technology, it really has a major impact on our family, our lives, us, then the entire world.
I definitely agree with
that. So that's really a neat that you brought that up, and I really like that example. Okay, so with that, we are going to take this break, and we want you to get your pens and papers out. Make sure you write down all the websites, all the phone numbers of all of our wonderful sponsors here, and we are going to take this break, and we'll be right back here on Profiles of Success.
Success Radio USA is always looking for ways to help you succeed, whether it's offering a word of encouragement or sharing practical information that can give you the competitive edge. So you'll want to pay close attention to this. Our new sponsor, the 365 Grand Club, can give you the edge when conducting business in downtown Colorado Springs. You might want to entertain a potential client or just show appreciation to a loyal business partner. Either way, your new 365 Grand Club card is your passport to downtown Colorado Springs. Your club card gives you access to discounts, business perks, making new business connections, and the convenient private concierge service that makes getting around town hassle-free. Enjoy the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today by visiting www.365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. Get yours this week and join the club, the 365 Grand Club.
This week, my name is Harley Mitchell. Next week, I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll use your name. You see, I'm a cyber criminal, and I steal information that defines who you are. Things like your driver's license number, your birth date, your home address, your office address, your social security number, your medical information, insurance cards, business licenses, and if I can get it, your birth certificate. If I can get one, I can get the rest. It's not personal. It's just business. Once I have your information, I bundle it with others and I sell it. Not just once, but over and over and over and over and over.
Due to recent massive data breaches, your personal information is now available for cyber criminals like Harley to buy and sell to their underworld counterparts for profit. Bad people with bad intentions hiding behind your identity. Don't be fooled and lock down your financial life. Use the professionals that Fortune 500 companies use, ID Shield and Legal Shield. It costs less and reaches further. Don't lock down your life. Call Andrea Wacker and get the right protection for the right problem. Andrea Wacker is your Lady of Justice. Call now at 719-243-3174. That's 719-243-3174.
I'm Chuck Bader.
And this is Jerry Evans.
And you're invited to join us on Profiles of Success, where we feature stories of successful businesses and successful individuals.
You can find us on TuneIn Radio, SoundCloud, or Stitcher by searching Success Radio USA. Or go to our website at successradio.us.
Our current program is available every day, 2 p.m. Mountain Time, Monday through Friday. We air new programs on every Monday. These are programs which are designed to guide you along your path of success, to provide you with the information, the inspiration, and the motivation to achieve your goals. Right here on Profiles of Success on Success Radio USA.
Hey, this is Megan, Cindy,
and Sammy,
and we are the Success Radio USA singers. Thank you for listening to Success Radio USA.
Success Radio USA.
Welcome back to Profiles of Success with our guest Amber Turner, our co-host Jerry Evans, and your host Chuck Bader.
Yes, indeed. And we thank you for being here on Profiles of Success. Get my new tongue. Okay. Profiles of Success. Yes, success. Yes, thank you very much. Okay. Success. Thank you. You can find us by going to our Facebook page at Success Radio USA or by going to our website at successradio.us. And we'd like to invite you to register there for free, and you will get a free ebook download as our gift to you. And now that you are one of those who takes success seriously, you can subscribe to Success Radio USA. I am saying that too. It is a family. So, and remember, you can get it on for a limited time only now for zip, zero, no money. Okay? Chucky Bader won't even have to pay for it.
Not a doggone penny. Yes.
That's right. Anyway, and you can have total access to our show's archives on demand and our Success Library of ebooks, which are also free to members. That is successful.
So now we're going to take it a little bit of a different direction here. And Amber is a classic story. You know, a lot of people don't want to or help you out in your pursuit of success. They'll oppose you. They'll kind of fight against you. But yeah, you pursue. And now you're into the dream that you want to be in, which is being involved in pageants. It also shows that you're the owner of Making a Difference Dinner and also Deluxe Productions. So let's talk about a little bit about what those companies are, and then let's get into the misperceptions of pageantry.
Sure. Well, Deluxe Productions is my event production business, and we are actually producing the United States of America pageants for the state of Colorado. And it's funny because I wouldn't say that pageantry was a dream of mine at all, actually. I kind of fell into pageantry. Initially I wanted to use the platform to get exposure for the passion I had, which is serving children with special needs.
Nice.
And I utilized that platform to get exposure for that. But in the process, I fell in love with the women. And they're passion driven. What they're doing in the community and how they're serving the community. And the first pageant that I did, we are still friends to this day.
Nice.
The women just are amazing and what they're doing and how they're making an impact. And I fell in love with that. And so once I fell in love with that, I fell in love with pageantry, and I realized that pageants aren't as superficial as I thought.
Right.
I really honestly thought growing up, I would watch it on TV, that it was about being beautiful. And it's so much more than that. It's about, service. It's about community. It's about making an impact. And I fell in love with that. And I fell in love with the women. I fell in love with what they were doing. And that's how I fell into pageantry. And so once I got into it, I was hooked. And I was like, I want to do this, and I want to be of service, and I want to meet other amazing women that are being of service as well.
What are the different pageants that you are involved with?
I competed in New York, and I competed in Colorado once I moved here. And so I was competing for the married division.
Now, would that be Mrs. Colorado or Mrs. New York? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it's funny because I started pageantry when I was 28 and I had 2 kids, and I was married, which, is not typical because you think of, okay, MISS, you're not married, you don't have any children, and you're 18 years old.
Right.
And so I didn't even realize that they even had a married division. I was like, what? Okay, I'll do it. I'll try it out, and and I fell in love with it, and I realized that there was a whole different world for me. But I fell in love with the service and the impact that they were making.
And that's another good point, too. Another example we want to kind of parallel to what you're talking about is Mary Kay Cosmetics, because a lot of people think that beauty and makeup are just superficial as well. Well, when you read the story about Mary Kay, it's all about giving back. They do great stuff to prevent domestic abuse. So the funny thing about what you said is that you weren't really looking to get involved in pageantry, but the thing that kind of pulled you intrinsically, the kind of thing that touched your feelings was the service to others. Mm-hmm. And that's, man, if you could talk about the common foundation of anybody who's living a fulfilled life, it's service to others. You've got to have that aspect to it.
Oh, absolutely. And it doesn't have to just be charity. It can be,
exactly.
People serve within their businesses as well. Yes. And I really believe that. And I think that people kind of forget about that point. And I think it's important that you do serve the community. And so, I think that's what we're made for.
Mm-hmm.
As people,
we are made for that.
Yeah, on this earth is to serve others in some capacity.
And I actually take the religious foundation on that because a lot of people try to look at it as strictly neuroscience, and I think there's something beyond that. But when you think about why do so many people talk about it feels good to give back, to pay it forward, to help out, to do things like that, and I think the secret lies in the Bible when Jesus Christ said, I did not come here to be served, I came here to serve. Correct. So if he's the greatest person who ever lived and has been the most influential person in history, gee whiz, you probably should take a clue from that. It's about service.
Yes.
Because it makes you feel that way. There's nothing logical about it. You just know how it makes you feel, and that's why you do it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree.
And even in the workplace, you're doing it in your own business or multiple businesses now, but in the workplace, that's what Jerry does. He's a trainer. And so when he's serving other people to build them up, to build their skill sets, to have a better quality of life, that's why he does this over the time. It's not a whole lot more money, but it's the satisfaction. It's how it makes you feel, the pursuit of happiness.
It is one thing, if like in my own personal case, and that is when you see the person achieve that success where they're able to do and perform on their own, that is a very gratifying moment. And you realize at that point that you really have served the community and served this person in allowing them to become better or allowing them to be able to perform at a level that they thought they would never ever achieve.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's important to really keep that at the forefront. Mm-hmm. Sometimes with business, we're perhaps focused on the money part, which is it's important.
Well, yeah,
that's
sure.
important.
Yeah.
But I believe that service. Once you focus on that, money always follows.
And a great thing, too, going back a couple of centuries, is Benjamin Franklin, when you look at his daily routine, which you can find on the internet now, he started off every day saying, what good can I do in the world? And after you go through his whole routine, last question before bed is, what good did I do in the world? So you're right. That's always got to be your guiding light about, why am I doing this? What am I doing to benefit the world? Mm-hmm. And that'll kind of keep you straight, despite all the stresses of bills or cancellations or employees or whatever. It's what's my outcome here? How am I trying to make things better?
Yeah, I say that every single morning is how can I serve today?
Right.
Whether it's my family, whether it's someone else that I don't know, whether it's through my business, how can I serve someone today?
Yeah. And you do that with the pageants, too, because I'm sure there's a number of contestants, if you want to call them that, that come in and then they're fearful about what's going on, and you're able to maybe calm their fears and say, well, here's what you need to do.
Yeah, and that's kind of my driving force, to be honest, with the pageants, is because I know initially when I went into it, I kind of was lost. I didn't have, a path or anything, so I was kind of like exploring and kind of trying new things. And so I really want to be that for other women and the contestants is whatever your dreams are and what your aspirations are, how can we help you get there? And I think that even with a platform like the United States of America pageants, you can see your dreams to fruition. And so how can you use that to leverage yourself to get to whatever you see for yourself?
And since they're going to have questions on that, is there a website and a phone number you can share on the show here about the pageant coming up in January?
Oh, sure. We have our pageant coming up in January, which I'm really excited
See the smile
about.
on her face? You can see the passion.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's right.
Absolutely. So it's going to be at the Broadmoor, which we're really excited about. And
Beautiful
you
location.
can, oh yeah, absolutely. And you can visit us at USOAMissColorado.com. And we're also on Facebook and on Instagram if you would like to follow us there as well at USOA Colorado Pageant, I believe. It's something like that. If you Google it, it'll come up. But or you can give us a call at 719-301-9094.
And one more time,
for
the
more
phone number.
information. It's 719-301-9094.
So talking about living out the passions, and I want to make sure you get the title right, but let's talk about one of your businesses called Making a Difference Dinner. How are you serving people with that?
I am hungry.
Well, Making a Difference Dinner is a benefit dinner. And January, we just concluded our past event, and we had Dr. Temple Grandin speak. It was a benefit dinner to benefit autism and those on the spectrum. And I tell you, it was amazing. I'm a big proponent for visualization and, visualizing your dreams. I could not visualize that. I mean, it was just
big,
amazing. It was way beyond my expectations. We packed the largest ballroom that they had, and everyone came out to support people on the spectrum. And, I mean, Dr. Temple Grandin was amazing. We had KOAA there, and, amazing sponsors. It was just really amazing. And so we do Making a Difference Dinner, and it's a benefit dinner to benefit different causes within the community.
So you don't do the actual cooking, right?
I don't think that people would come if
I was just checking,
if I was doing the cooking, it would not be a benefit dinner.
I can make some serious scrambled eggs, let me tell you.
No, I can do that. And some bacon.
I'm really okay. We'll have to have a comparative. We'll have an egg off or something like that.
So I just thought of a question I had earlier I wanted to address.
Sure.
It's so common, like you said, to where you have this dream for whatever reason, you want to pursue it, and your friends, your family, your community oppose you on that. Were you ever aware of the free resources out there when you're trying to pursue your business of SCORE and the Small Business Development Center, your local library, things like that?
I actually learned that over time.
Okay.
And I think, it's, I honestly feel it's all about the journey. And so I know all of these things I didn't know all of this at once.
Right.
But I've learned them over the years. And at this point, I'm like, I know, and I'm like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, I know of these resources. I know how I can use these free resources.
Right.
I mean, and I try to share it with as many people
Yes.
as possible, because people don't realize that, starting your own business is so much easier. They think it has to be hard. It has to be struggle. It has to be a challenge. But there's so many resources, and
Yes.
I've utilized SCORE, and it's amazing. I'm like, free mentorship? Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's amazing.
So we'll just kind of highlight those again. SCORE, SCORE.org, Small Business Development Center, your local library, YouTube, all kinds of videos on there. And then the meetup groups. So if you want to start a business, look for meetup groups. And that's how the program got started. I found our producer, Tim Wacker, on a meetup group, and all of a sudden, here it is. So this stuff works.
Yes.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, absolutely. Real quickly, your phone number and website
Yes,
again,
yes,
if
yes.
you could.
I'm sure it's 719-301-9094, and you can visit us at USOA. Why can't I get that? MissColorado.com.
Or call the phone number.
Call the phone number.
It might be easier. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Probably.
Is there an email address they can send you?
Sure, it's Colorado at UnitedStatesOfAmericaPageants.com.
There we go. Long, but easier to remember.
That's
yeah,
right.
it's very long.
Very good.
long.
All right.
Well, the good thing is this is recorded, so people, all you got to do is play it back and write it down. No big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you so much for being on the show and sharing your story.
Oh,
It's
thank
helping
you
a
for
lot of people.
having me. It was really fun.
Absolutely.
You were a delight, and we do want to thank you once again for being here. And you're welcome to come back.
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe
maybe
about half your page we got through.
That's
so.
right. So kind of an update on what's going on. But thank you once again, and you're a lovely lady, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So as we take it out, we just want to again emphasize what she talked about, the free resources out there, SCORE, Small Business Development Center, local library, and YouTube. Start with that, and it'll take you to the rest, and meetup groups. So make sure that someday and every day that when you first wake up, whether you feel like it or not, you watch a YouTube video, read a book, or do something or do anything to keep
moving forward.
You have been listening to Profiles of Success on Success Radio USA with Chuck Bader and Jerry Evans, brought to you in part by the 365 Grand Club, Colorado Springs' only elite urban downtown club. So start enjoying the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today at 365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. God bless you all, and see you next week on Profiles of Success.